Good day, everyone. This is our discussion still on preparation of adjusting entries or adjustments. And for this time, this will be the discussions for provision for doubtful accounts or debts. So debts coming from our customers or clients or the consumers and receivables in our end as sellers. So the situation here is that we are having our services or our goods, basically our products. We sell them, and our clients gave their oral or verbal promises to pay. No promissory notes in this case or occasion, although there can also be doubtful notes receivable as we speak of. So we can also have the allowance for the doubtful notes receivable. But here it's more on the accounts receivable that is being talked about. So you can see on the picture about the two things, comparison of a debt, whether that's doubtful or bad. So this is just something that is sort of an addition because this will be discussed more in higher accounting or finance or business subjects. So if you say doubtful debt, that means the money you predict that will be uncollectible and turn into bad debt. So this means that you are still thinking, you are still forecasting or estimating or predicting that these particular accounts would be uncollectible. And they have certain percentages or possibilities or probabilities that they can actually become bad debt later on. So bad debt is an aggravated or a worsened, I would say that, form of a doubtful debt, which is really something that is 100% uncollectible. So we cannot do something about it. So that's why what we do is we are going to write it off or remove it from our financial statements in the form also of adjusting entry. So without further ado, let's discuss it from our source. So the title here is Accrual for Uncollectible Accounts. Basically, this is the same, or this is just the same. We can also say this is provision for doubtful accounts. So this is the time that we are going to estimate out of our balances of accounts receivable as to how much really would be, we think, we forecast based on trends, patterns, and experiences, which are, of course, professionally made, that cannot be collected. So they have possibilities of becoming bad debt or bad debts in the future. So take note that the provision is an expense. It is treated as a deduction from our gross margin or income, our gross profit, or simply the revenues. If we use, for example, just the formula revenues minus expenses, so it's part of the operating expenses of the company or expenses. And then this would make better matching of income and expenses because we already have the income out of our service income or sales. So we are going to consider also the expenses as counterparts. So as an assumption here, what if we have 1,100,000 credit sales in which this would be our basis because sales can be in a form of cash or credit because we're talking about uncollectible accounts. Therefore, we only refer to the credit sales. And based on prior experience, we have 1% average uncollectible accounts rate based on the credit sales. So in that case, what we can do is that we are going to multiply that percentage to the credit sales to get the value of the provision. So that is 11,000 pesos in that case. Now, just like accumulated depreciation, which is a contra non-current asset account from property, plant, and equipment, allowance for uncollectible accounts is also a contra asset account, but it is a contra current asset account, which is a deduction from our accounts receivable. And so the entry here is to debit uncollectible accounts expense and credit allowance for uncollectible accounts for 11,000 pesos. Now, if ever you will see in certain occasions or books that there would be debits of doubtful accounts expense or bad debts expense, basically they are the same. It's just a matter of partnering with the appropriate account. So should we use bad debts expense? then we are going to credit allowance for bad debts. If we debit doubtful accounts expense, so we credit allowance for doubtful accounts. If we debit uncollectible accounts expense, so we credit allowance for uncollectible accounts. I do understand that some books also would use estimated uncollectible accounts, so that's the same, essentially the same. Now, this is the method wherein we are basing it on sales, because sales in right mean is an income statement item. Rather, that is the reason that the amount computed here would be treated as an expense. So income matched with the expense. On another hand, if our basis would be the account receivable, I think it's not that treated here, or it's not like discussed here because this is basic accounting. So that would be another thing. Anyhow, so we can limit ourselves as to here, like the basis would be sales. You will know in higher accounting that there would be also other bases like the receivables, wherein whatever would be the amount of the receivables multiplied by the percentage, that would be the ending balance of the allowance. And we are going to gross or squeeze or gross up the amount of the expense. Anyhow, the intention of the author is just to explain the concept, so we will respect that. Anyway, so to continue, we have here the write-off. So this is when we will really determine that a particular account is really and definitely uncollectible, like 100%. Therefore, we have to write it off. And that's why to write off this 1,500 receivable, you can notice that we credited accounts receivable. Remember, this is an asset. So for it to be deducted with something, we are going to deduct an accounts receivable. And since we removed that receivable, therefore, we have to reduce also the allowance appropriately because it's not part anymore of our estimated doubtful accounts. It's now really a written off account. Okay, so that is just the entry if it is write off. Anyway, the conclusion here is that no entry is made to uncollectible accounts expense when there is write off, since the adjusting entry has already provided for an estimated expense based on previous experience for all receivables, right? So this 1.5 was part already here on the estimate. Therefore, no reduction on the expense. This is just the entry. Okay, so that's it for discussions for provision for doubtful accounts. It is just very short. Hopefully you've learned something from this particular part or session. Thank you very much and God bless.